Oh, good greetings everyone. It's 10:24 in the morning on the 17th of October 2020. I mean, it's an overcast day, but I'm feeling really good. I'm casting here along the podcast with myself. It's going to be great. I have a slight wound on my finger, only a minor one. It's the kind of thing where as soon as after it happens, you can't work out how bad it was. I don't know if you've ever seen a wound before there's blood yet. But it kind of happened. I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is evidently there's a gap in my skin, and I'm not afraid to confront that reality. However, due to the lack of kind of reaction it's made, it's kind of just happened. At that point, it hadn't given me its opinion. It just kind of happened, and then later on, it said, actually, that did actually sort of penetrate and rupture a capillary and probably some other slightly larger blood vessels in the finger. And at the end of the day, Alfie, you know that if you do that, then it bleeds. So I sort of accepted that truth and wrapped it up, and it's fine. But yeah, it's kind of strange when you so I was opening a tin, but this big tin. I swear, I swear, what? I would not be afraid to say it had a diameter of maybe 7 inches, the tin, and it was really thick metal. It was military grade. I don't know what was going on. It contained duck legs, right? It was a French. My grandparents had this tin of duck legs and goose and duck fat from France, because they'd been to France or something. Anyway, the metal must have been enough. They probably in France. They probably have their duck tin factory right next to where they build airplanes, and therefore they used what I'm hinting at there is that they source the same metal. And oh god, it's just I consider myself slightly strong. I'd been doing press ups for the last week. Up until that point, I said, actually, Alfie, now you're going to do press ups every day. Doing press ups, feeling kind of slightly. I had a bit more volume than I had maybe a week and a half before, and yeah, I couldn't do this tin, and I was like, oh my god, I'm fed up, actually. I've been looking at this duck fat for the last 10 minutes. It's been creeping over the side. It's an unpleasant yellowy colour. It looks a bit like the contents of apple pie, this duck fat. It's kind of that creamy colour with chunks. Just in life, I have to choose what I want to look at and what I want to experience. And if I want to find happiness, it's important what you choose to be your friends and what you surround yourself with. I didn't want to surround myself with duck fat for a further 40 minutes, right? So I grabbed the lid of the tin, grabbed it with both hands. I pressed my thumb, so I had my 8 fingers I've actually got around the edge of the tin, the tin's lid, because I'd lifted it up slightly, so it come away from the side and it was up in the air slightly, but not enough. And I put my thumbs against the base and I twisted my hands back to try and bring the lid around, to bring the lid, to bend the metal of the lid. Like I said, it's already a military grade lid, so I'm pretty much folding a plane right now. That's how strong the metal was. And then it slipped on my finger, and the metal bit went tick into my finger. There we are. It was sort of enjoyable in a way, because then I had that moment, like I said earlier. I'm kind of doing a bit of a loop here, but I looked at my finger and I could just see my skin had flapped. And it was just sort of there, and there was no red, there was no blood or anything, but there was just pale skin kind of flapping over myself. It looked a bit like clay. And then I walked over to the sink. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I was very tired last night. I had a long day, and that all happened yesterday. And I woke up this morning, and the moment I woke up for the first hour of being awake, I thought I had completely functional and uninjured fingers, and then I looked down, I kind of went, oh god, that feels a bit weird, and I looked down and I remembered it again. That's okay. I just thought, oh yeah, that's something that happened in my life. Much the same way, I just got out of bed. I know that happened in my life as well, but now instead of getting out of bed, I've got a wound. But we're back, baby. We're back. I'm gonna start releasing all kinds of. I'm back. I'm feeling like doing comedy again. I kind of went through the stage where it'd been so long since I'd done anything, or felt like I had the opportunity to be creative and towards comedy that I stopped. But I'm back, baby. I've already recorded one little clip about me on a train on my Instagram page, my Alfie Carter comedy Instagram page, and then I did a little bin review because I felt like, I don't know, I was in the kitchen, this bin wasn't functioning properly, and I thought maybe there's some humour in this that I can, spread to people, and then it probably wasn't really that funny, but what you do is you accompany something which isn't very funny with an interactive game. So it was bin review October, and then people sent me pictures of their bins. So once my friends had sent me pictures of the bins, I went through ranking them, and then there was a best bin of the month went to my friend. Admittedly, there was only 2 bins included. Not much competition, but it's still the better one. Still the better bin. Ba 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 ba. I've been trying to sing recently. It's really quite fun, but singing is very hard to understand if I sound good or not. Cause me, I'm replicating the notes that my favourite singers use, but I don't know if I am. But then you kind of have this issue where you don't really want to sing around people, and the off chance is awful. So you end up, the only way you would know if your singing is okay and if it should be voiced is by doing it in front of people, but that's the one thing that prevents you from doing it. It's sort of a catch-22 in a way. Maybe not. So I'm just going to stick to solitary shit singing. Good bit of fun there. Good bit of fun. Some of these Greek guys, right, from a while ago, I went to the British Museum, and there were all these statues and all these marble and these smooth men and women with smooth boobs and smooth faces and this white kind of stone. It's really pretty. Some of them admittedly didn't have legs, or their cocks had been crushed or whatever over the years. Over the 2,000 years that they've been manhandled by other white people who didn't really make them or anything, just decided to take them because they were in power at the time. That's how it works. And yeah, I was thinking, wow, this is really quite amazing that they did this. I don't know if we at the moment would have the same kind of attitude towards, hey, let's just create some art and hang it around the place. I don't know if people like art all that much anymore. I mean, they kind of like it, but I don't know if they like it. I don't know. I feel like art at the moment is kind of segmentized in a manner in which, oh, I'm going to go and look at some art. And they go to a gallery and they go, this makes me feel like I've just lost my firstborn child. And, it's all sad, and it's a picture of it's a black or dark image or whatever. Or they go, wow, I mean, look at that landscape. The way those wheat fields are slowly massaging in and out of those hills, and just wonderful glow. It's as if God wanted it to look like that. Anyway, and you kind of think, oh God, wow, God made the world so beautiful, and then he made a man who could paint the world so beautiful, and you kind of think, wow, art, people. But at the moment, there's not much. If I go down, there are so many opportunities to have cool stuff everywhere. That's why I think graffiti should just be legal. Everyone should you should be born in the UK, they give you a jab against hepatitis, they give you a jab against coronavirus, let's say, and they should, you're a baby, so they put you in a nappy or whatever, and then they should just hand you a spray can and wait till you're old enough to use it. And then the world would be, it'd be colourful, it'd be cool. Everyone would be, it wouldn't, imagine how, I know this is sort of a good thing, but the fact that we have a certain I find community, there's kind of a group of people who have certain, the LGBT community. I find the community kind of a weird way of segmenting up people, but anyway, and then they have the rainbow and colourful and kind of this outgoing colourful form of expression, which is quite intertwined with the idea of these sexualities, right? But it'd be so, I think, imagine if everyone was just colourful. It'd be so cool. If everyone just felt like being colourful, and it wasn't like, oh dear God, I'm wearing kind of a lot of colours right now, I hope nobody kind of looks at me and expects that I'm this or that. Which I'm sure doesn't happen, but the idea of, if you've got a rainbow shirt on now, it's kind of that symbol. It's kind of sad in a way. But I think it's great that there is a symbol of LGBT, but I think it's the fact that we don't all express colour. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've got good intentions. Whatever, if that what I just said pops up in 10 years and people are like, ooh, that view's a little bit peculiar. I have good intentions, but I just kind of, it'd be nice. You know, black tracksuits are incredibly popular, right? There's nothing stimulating about black tracksuit whatsoever. And then, I mean, no, I'm wrong. The black tracksuit itself is completely bland. There's no value to it. But, it's what do you have 3 stripes on your black tracksuit? Or do you have a slightly strangely shaped tick on your black tracksuit? And that becomes where the value of it is, I suppose. I can't. Well, the day it's going to be a while now. Of course, I'm 18, so what's that? At least 20 years. But when I own a house, and I'm just gonna at the moment, as long as I haven't been grinded down into this smooth little pebble that people kick along the pavement by the time I'm that age, that's a metaphor. Then I'm gonna have loads of colour everywhere. I want my house to be cool, and I want it to have statues and all sorts of strange things. I feel like the ceiling is an incredibly underused option. We have carpets on the floor, we have tapestries on the wall, sometimes pictures, but the ceiling is always blank, and I just think it's such a great. Your room, if it's a cuboid, has 6 faces, but we seldom use the one above our heads. Admittedly, you know, it's hard to look at. Babies pretty much can't look at the ceiling unless they're lying on their back, because just their neck doesn't function that way. And also dogs can't look at ceilings. Maybe people, they just can't, again, get their neck up like that. Admittedly, the ceiling's what you see least of, but I think we can make it beautiful. What could you have on a ceiling? I think it'd be cool on the ceiling to have a drawing of like a floor. So you have a really good 3D kind of drawing of tables and chairs and put it on the ceiling. That'd be fun. I'm going to be an artist. I'm going to own a gallery. I'm just going to do all these things, really. I'm going to own a gallery, I'm going to own a yacht, and then I'm just going to own Brazil, I think. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to own it. Go over to Brazil, and I'm going to tell everyone in Brazil, we have to have chairs and tables on the ceiling, otherwise there's going to be trouble, and I might float away on my yacht and never come back. And they'll say, oh, fine. And then they won't do the paintings of the tables on the ceilings, and everything's okay. I don't really want to own a yacht. Boats are kind of cool, but at the same time, are they that cool, really? I'm not sure. I think boats, they kind of go up and down, admittedly, but I wouldn't really want to own one, I don't think. A kayak, that's fun, because you get to use your shoulders, but I don't know, man. Boats, they seem like so much hassle. They get all the barnacles on them. You've got to go under there with a spatula, scraping them off and shit like that. I don't know. Don't know if I got the time for that. What else? Well, I don't know how you. I wonder. You know how we have what we should do. You know how mice, or like, to prevent certain animals doing certain things. You know how as humans, if you're addicted to biting your nails, then you just put this like weird liquid on them and then they taste awful. Why don't we, first of all, I know it's going to be kind of difficult, but we need to go into a culinary enterprise with barnacles and ask them what flavour they dislike, and then just paint the boats with that, and then from that point on, the barnacles will just be, you know, due to their slightly gourmet tastes, they'll just stick to the rocks. Easy. I don't know why, I don't know, maybe no one's thought of that before, but I think that's not far off. Pretty good idea. Or you can just pay thousands of pounds, like £800 a year, just to scrape the barnacles off your boat. Anyway, everyone, I had a really lovely podcast. I think this was a really good one. It's been almost a year since we first did this. In fact, in 2 weeks, it'll be a year since my first podcast. We'll do a little ceremonious, you know, congratulations to myself and all my 2 listeners. Anyway, it's lovely to spend time with you. Goodbye.